Hi, it's a lipstick gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I just wanted to do a get ready with me and let you know what's going on, how we're doing. I want to hear about what your fall is like, how you're getting prepped for the holidays. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of corrector. I always do that. I always start singing anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for being subscribed and watching me kind of blank out my dark circles. Makes a big difference. I love this stuff. This is the Beauty Pie. I almost called it the wrong thing. The Super Luminous Under Eye Genius. And I have the lightest shade. I have been not doing a lot of makeup during October, and a lot of it is because it's been a crazy busy month and I just haven't had the time. And it comes down to the fact that my parents came to visit. We had some, okay, my mother is the best ever. I might have already mentioned that here before. My parents wanted to bring to us their piano. My daughter, oldest daughter, Ava, plays the piano beautifully. And I had mentioned in passing this, I don't know, maybe early spring, that my husband and I were looking for a better piano, because our daughter is getting to the point with the piano that we've had for, I don't know, 15 years. It's one that we got that a friend just gave us. It was a little teeny tiny spinet, so it's like an upright up against the wall, but it's super short, takes up almost no room at all. And it's been around the block. It's a little beaten up. Had some problems. We needed to get some work done on it, but it doesn't really stay in tune. And when you press the keys, they used to work perfectly, but since my daughter plays it all the time, sometimes they don't. And I was like, why am I going to keep investing money into an old piano that I know is, seen better days, when I could just get a better piano for her? So we were looking for an affordable, better piano, probably another upright. And my mom was like, well, we've got this piano just sitting here. Nobody plays it. I promised it to Ava years ago when she started piano lessons. We should bring it to you. And all I could think of is, how are my parents, who are near retirement, gonna pack up a 600-pound piano? My mother is not afraid of anything. Like, she drives cross country by herself all the time. I'm coming out to see you. She jumps in her car and 3 days later, there she is. She was just like, had plans. She's like, we're just gonna pack it up. We're gonna put it in the back of a U-Haul and we're gonna bring it to you. And I was like, Mom, do you need help? She's like, no. She decided not to pack it up at a U-Haul, thankfully. She paid someone to move it. So now I have this gorgeous piano. But while I was visiting her and my dad in September, I went to see them for about 5-6 days. Just, I haven't seen you. It's been a while. My mom was here this summer, but I hadn't seen my dad in more than a year. So I was spending some time with them, and my mom's like, well, since we're already shipping the piano out to you, why don't you go shopping through the house? My parents have a beautiful home. And my mother has a natural eye for design. Like, seriously, a beautiful natural eye for design. She goes like, we'll go through. If you see any artwork that you're interested in or a piece of furniture that you're interested in, let's talk about it. She goes, I'm already sending the piano out. Maybe there's a few other things that you want and we can just get it out to you now. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, well, your father and I are thinking about downsizing. They have a really lovely home. It's significantly larger than mine. It has a lot more furniture in it. And just like, and I would hate to, just sell my furniture before I move, and people want to give me hardly anything. She goes, I'd much rather you have it and you enjoy it. And my mother has excellent taste. So her home is gorgeous. And she's starting to think about like the long term. And here's what's funny is she and my dad came to visit. My dad hadn't seen my kids since March of 2020. He came for their birthdays just before everything got shut down. And then he hasn't been back out here. He's been working. And my mom, who is retired a long time ago, she just comes out when she wants. And so after she was vaccinated this spring, she came out this summer. I went to see her in September, and my dad's like, I want to see the kids. So she's like, well, let's go in October to see the kids. And what's interesting is that their planned trip to come and see us, coincided at the same time that all of the things that she sent for me, along with the piano, arrived. So my house went looking like one thing to completely another. And my husband and I just redid the floors in the house, and that was done, what, September 1? So we have already, it looks like a completely different house. Like the carpet is gone, there's new vinyl flooring in, we painted the baseboards, we did that ourselves. And we've been trying to do all of this other stuff to make the house just look a little bit nicer. And then my mom says, and here's a whole bunch of furniture. And her furniture is beautiful. And the thing that's so cool about my mom is she has this firm belief that furniture is not created the same as it used to be, where, you know, quality is not as good. And so she would rather have an old chair that she can strip down to the bones and take to her reupholsterer and have them, she'll pick out the fabric. And every single chair in my house, with the exception of my couch, is something that my mom, she's like, you know what? This fabric would look really good. Ooh, this fabric would look really good. And so she has all of her chairs from her house reupholstered. And then, like, for my birthday one year, and this is a long and tangential story, but in the late 70s, I think it was 78 or 79, my mom bought a pair of wingback chairs for nearly nothing. And she had them recovered multiple times over the course of her living in California, moving about. And then when my husband and I bought this house here in Washington 18 years ago, she had them recovered and sent as a housewarming gift to us. It was so sweet. And then for my birthday about, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, she had them recovered again because she was like, well, they're looking a little shabby. They're a little faded. Don't keep them near the windows. And then I got a cat, and my cat snagged a few places, and she saw it. And so when she was here this summer, she's like, these are looking a little sad. Maybe as your anniversary gift. And she's always trying to find an excuse to do something for us. And I just let her because it makes her happy, and I'm like, I can't really stop her anyway. She's like, let's get them recovered. And so we went shopping for fabric, and I found fabric that made me super happy. And she had these wingback chairs recovered, and she called everybody here locally where I live. And they're like, well, we're not taking any new things on until January or February. She's like, what? I'm not waiting that long. So my mom, who had driven out here in her large SUV in June, shoved these two wingback chairs like back to back and shoved them in the back of her car, drove them all the way back out to Ohio, took them to her upholsterer, who told her the same thing. Well, we're busy until probably January, February. She's like, how many times have you recovered my chairs? I was like, Mom! So she convinced her upholsterer to recover these two wingback chairs, and she told me, she goes, you know what? And they came out on the same truck that the piano and everything else came out on. She's like, you know what? These chairs are vintage now, and their construction is so good. They don't make chairs like this. And I was like, oh. So I have these two chairs that are like my favorite chairs in my house. My mom is just, I love her so much. So she does all of these like over the top things for me, and you know, when a parent decides, you really can't stop them. They're going to do it anyway. But at least I get to direct her. Ooh, I like this fabric. Ooh, I like that fabric. So now, courtesy of my mom, we have, let's see, a pair of slipper chairs. Super cute. My wingbacks that got recovered. And she sent another chair that's like a club chair with an ottoman. And so now my little tiny house, it feels a little right now, especially with the big piano in there. Oh, bless my mama. She's so good. I threw on a little bit of the Glossier Wowder forehead, under eyes, nose, and chin, and I think I'm going to leave it there because I want to use cream products on the rest of my face. I'm still really in love with the So Soft products from M. This is one of their bronzers. This one's called Summer. And I am just going to plop a little bit of this on and blend. This last month has been so crazy for me because of we had some flooring put in, I think it was last day of September, beginning of October. And then my husband and I, we had demoed the floor and taken down all of the baseboards. So we repainted those the following weekend, had to nail them back up. I spent a lot of time creeping along the floor, my hands and knees, like scraping caulking off the walls, retexturizing, repainting. Like we did a lot of like zhuzhing the house. The house looks like a completely different place. I had my cousin stop by the other day, and she hadn't been here in a couple of months. And she walked in, she's like, whoa, what happened? And I was like, my mom. Because between the new flooring that we had put in last month, and then also all the furniture and the big piano. She's like, whoa. She goes, oh yeah, this is so your mom. I'm gonna be putting on the Lisa Eldridge Enlivening blush. I love this shade in Venetian red, and this is basically all I need. It's a little teeny tiny amount. This might even be too much. I'm gonna share it between like 4 fingers here, tippy tap tap, and then I'm just gonna, danger, might have been too much. We're just gonna keep pouncing, maybe one side at a time. Little Lisa Eldridge Glow. This is the Elevated Glow. This is the lightest shade in Crystal Nebula. This is like my favorite highlight. I can't stop using it. And I never thought I would be somebody who would want to reach for so many liquid products, but it's so pretty. I get to a certain point where I can't keep looking at my face without my brows being on, so I'm using the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil from e.l.f. I recently finished an ABH Brow Wiz. I also recently finished the brow pencil from M, which I really like, and I'm trying to make sure I'm good about finishing what I have before buying more. I'm always like curious, and I go, you have so much, just chill. Last month, my youngest daughter picked up a new activity that she is over the moon excited about. She heard one of her friends was taking a fencing class, and I was like, what? Because we live in the country. Like, we don't live like on the Seattle side of Washington. We live in the rural, next to a wheat field side of Washington. I was like, who's teaching fencing out here? But I did a little research, and I found that our town has a Parks and Recs department, and you can take a fencing class, you could take a yoga class, you could take a pottery class. You know, they do the regular stuff, soccer, basketball, you know, all of that sort of stuff for kids and for adults. But I didn't know they offered fencing. When my daughter heard about it, she's like, I want to do that. So my youngest is in fencing. My oldest is doing competitive swim. My kids have always been in swim classes in the summertime, but this is the first time that my daughter, my oldest daughter, has been interested in wanting to do swim all year round. She's got and it's her first swim meet that's coming up later this month, and I'm super excited to see how that goes for her. It feels like you know, the world is still different, but it kind of feels like we're moving into almost what would have been normal. Like if things hadn't blown up a year and a half ago and we had just kind of kept on the same trail, like my kids would be doing these sorts of things. And it feels good to kind of be getting back to that. Still in love with my boy brow from Glossier. I'm going to throw a little bit of this in. And I was back home. I've been doing this for years, and I was recently reading an article about like how to get the full fluffy brows of your dreams. And they talk about backcombing. I'm like, yes, more people should do that, because it really does help give me the fluff, and it helps to get the product on all parts of the hair and deposit a little bit on the skin underneath without it looking too heavy or too goopy. I can't stop using this, and I know that's not a bad thing, but I really love this. This is that Tourmaline. Oh, do I need any eyeshadow primer? Nah. Isn't that terrible? Somebody who has a beauty YouTube channel and doesn't use all the proper things. The truth is, if I'm going to skip something, it's usually going to be primer. And I know I would get better longevity if I were to, you know, prime my eyes. I know that. Even my face. And I just can't be bothered sometimes. It wouldn't take that long, and primer is staring at me right there, and I just don't reach for it. So I would love to know what you're up to. You know, Thanksgiving is coming up. I can't believe that we're almost to Thanksgiving. Like, wow. We survived all of the Halloween chocolate. I've gained a few pounds. I'm just gonna be honest. That's the one thing. You know, I wish I did not still love candy as much as I did when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, I loved Easter, loved Valentine's Day, loved Halloween. And now it's not just candy for those holidays. They make candy for 4th of July. They make candy for St. Patrick's Day. They make candy for everything. And the little kid in me, the little 7-year-old who like walks down the aisles and goes, is still doing that at 47. Well, almost 47. I don't know, 4 decades later, and I'm still like cramming all the sugar in my mouth. I really love it. Okay. I'm gonna throw this first shade here, this guy here, kind of on the lid and on the inner corner. I also like being able to do an entire eye look with one brush. I know that's so lazy of me, but I love that. I just use my color switch and kind of, you know, dust off whatever previous color there was. What's next? And I'm gonna take a little bit of this. I'm gonna do this shade here. This kind of burgundy shade. I'm gonna put a little bit of this right out here for a little depth. I'm going to be using the Illustrative liner from M Cosmetics. This has like been my go-to since I discovered it. Was it the beginning of 2021 that I tried the Illustrative liner for the first time? I think it might have been. This has probably been, this is my third brown one. I have another brown one, might even have two. I don't want to be without this liner. Kind of hoping that things are going to slow down a little bit for me. I've been feeling like I've been drinking from a fire hydrant with all the things I've had to do. But I don't know, maybe not. I find that I get so much more done when I'm busy. But I miss the being able just to sit and happily crochet on the couch. Oh, I'm still working on that. I think it was September that I showed you. I don't have it here and my hands are full of makeup, so I wouldn't go and get it. But I remember mentioning that I started a new blanket and it's taking forever and I've had to order yarn 3 times. I just realized that I didn't have enough. I followed the pattern and I said, you know what, I went a little bit bigger. So I made it a little bit bigger. The pattern called for 15 skeins of yarn and it's only half done. But that was me altering the pattern, going, I'm gonna repeat this instead of being, you know, a little throw, I want it just a little bit bigger. I realized that I bought like an extra 8 skeins and I was like, that's not gonna be enough, I need more. I was not being careful and I not only got mascara on my upper eyelid, but down here. I'm gonna let it totally dry and then I'm just gonna scrape it off either with a Q-tip or with a clean spoolie. That's the best way to get rid of it, but I'm gonna try not to get it down here. While I'm waiting for my mascara to dry so I can scrape it off because it ended up where I didn't want it, I'm gonna go ahead and put on some lipstick. I'm gonna start with the Lisa Eldridge liner. This is the Enhance and Define lip liner. I have the shade Blush. And I'm going to throw on the new shade in Blush Lightly. I'm also going to take a lip brush and pick up a little bit of the lightest shade she makes in Velvet Intrigue and just highlight the center of my lip. I know that if I were to put this straight on my lip like I would normally do, then I would be frustrated later that I got this color on this bullet. So we're just going to do it the way you're supposed to. I really like the way this turned out. I feel like I've got like a nice balance with the eye for my big and enormous bushy eyebrows. And I am loving this tone, this kind of rosy, but not too deep, but not too light tone of lipstick. I think it works really, really well together. Thank you so much for watching today. I would love to know how you're doing, what you're doing that is kind of exciting for November. What plans you have for Thanksgiving, if you have any. Are you getting together with family? Are you getting together with friends? Let me know in the comments down below. And if there is something that you reach for that makes you think fall, and it doesn't have to be, you know, a lipstick or an eyeshadow. It could be, you know, like your favorite coffee flavor. It could be a show that you watch. It could be a book that you read. It could be a candle that you light that smells like fall to you. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and I will see you again soon. Bye.